our experiment. We're gonna actually get ready to grow our pumpkin. So I know some people might be really confused and think, how can you grow a pumpkin inside of a pumpkin? It's actually very easy. We've already talked about what are the things a plant needs. A plant needs sun or light. Sometimes they don't have natural light. We need water, we need soil, we need space, and we need air. So you also need, in order to grow something to grow. Usually we have seeds. Don't worry, we're gonna get the seeds. All we need is this pumpkin. I have some water, and I have a bag of soil. And the neat thing about this is you can kind of use any soil you have. Doesn't matter, you just need some soil and you need some water. And then we'll use the sunlight that we have outside. We're going to be watching it because it does take a while for our plants to grow. So let's go ahead and get started. You are going to need a grown-up to help you with part of this. Other parts you can do on your own. It will be messy, and I will tell you it might be a little bit stinky. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I actually, remember when we counted how many lines? I'm going to kind of use those lines to help me where I'm going to cut my pumpkin open. So how many of you have ever cut a pumpkin over to carve it, to do a jack-o'-lantern? I love carving pumpkins. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm going to be using this plate in a minute. But it does get very messy, and sometimes it's stinky, and it's very sticky. So just be prepared. I'm going to actually put my hair back because my hair goes on my face. I'm going to want to touch it, and then I don't want to get pumpkin guts on me. I have two different types of knives. I actually have a knife that you guys may have seen when you carve a pumpkin if you have. So it has little blades and then it has a bigger one. I also have a normal kitchen knife. I've used all different types of knives. I haven't really found one that works the best. I am going to start, I think I'm going to start with this one. We'll see. If it gets too hard, I'm just going to get the normal knife and we'll see. So we're not worrying about putting anything in this pumpkin. Ooh. Besides soil. So I'm not going to be too worried about how perfect my cut is on the top. So some people like to wear gloves when they do this. That might be good. I just do it like this because sometimes gloves get slippery. So as you can already see, I have little tiny chunks of pumpkin coming off. That's okay. I'm also not going to, like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about how perfect this is at the top. You guys can see it's very hard. My water's shaking a lot. Because I'm not going to be putting a light in this. I'm not going to be worrying about carving the sides of this pumpkin. We're not even going to take the guts out. That's the special trick to this. So, almost done. This is where you're going to want the grown-up to do this for you. Just to be careful. I even sometimes get worried that I'm gonna hurt myself. Alright, so you guys can tell. There's the top of our pumpkin. Oh, it's very stinky when you take the lid off. So I have my pumpkin, cut it open. Another thing you can do if you want, because again, we're not gonna worry about putting this top back on, is you can actually cut this inside part just a little bit to make it a little bit wider. To put more soil, okay? All right. Let's get to our next step.
So you can see our inside of our pumpkin. This is where I cut it just a little bit wider. You can see if I move, there are lots of pumpkin seeds. I can actually, if you want to, these are the type of seeds that when you're carving a jack-o'-lantern or anything, you can take them out and you can clean them off a little bit, and then you can actually put them in the oven and cook them, add salt, and they're delicious. But today we're going to leave our pumpkin seeds inside. You can also see that there's other stuff in here. You can tell that our pumpkin, see our outside shell, we have our inside right here. It's a little bit lighter orange, still orange. We also, on our top, you guys can see we have these little strands right here. These are called fibrous strands. We also have some seeds up here. Not a whole lot, but some. I'm just gonna leave those on there. I'm just gonna actually, what I'm gonna do is actually go put this outside for some birds. They wanna eat it because I'm not gonna use this part today. You can also see where I cut. that's actually the pumpkin skin. And like I said, it's kind of sticky. It's a very strong smell. Pumpkin has a very strong smell. So I can actually move these around and you can see there's lots of seeds in there. Lots and lots and lots. Like I said, we're gonna actually keep these in here. I'm not gonna do anything else with these. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna put this on my plate. I'm gonna use this plate just so I can, as we're observing the pumpkin over the next few weeks, I have a place where I can move it easily because our pumpkin is actually gonna be the pot. So this is really my pot for my plants. What's cool about it is when we're done, I can take my pot and I can put it straight into the ground, and the soil in the ground is going to use it as nutrients and break it apart, and my plants can just grow. So here's my pot. Here are my plants that I'm going to grow. As you can tell, I have quite a bit in there. There are lots and lots of pumpkin seeds. Instead of eating them, I'm going to grow these ones, or we're going to try. So we have our pot. My next step is I need to fill this up with soil. Again, you can use any soil. I have just a bag of normal potting soil. I have a little scoop. Sometimes it's easier if you have a bigger cup. We're going to see. I'm hoping it doesn't take a lot. So I'm going to just dump that in, and then I'm going to shake it a little bit just to get it down in there. There's still plenty of room in there, so I'm going to pat it down just a little bit. Add another scoop. Now it smells like soil. So patting that in. I told you it's going to be a kind of dirty project, but it's fun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water on, okay? You'll notice that the water at first will pool up and then you see it kind of disappears. And what that is doing is it's actually helping the soil go down because our soil is dry. Now it's a little bit more wet and it's going to be able to go down in between some of those seeds and get a little bit further than I could just patting it down. It makes a little bit more room. I'm going to add another. Pat it down. I'm not pressing super hard, just pretty light. Okay. And I'm going to add just a little bit more. I can also, as this settles, as it kind of works its way in, I can always add more soil if I need to. So you guys can see right there, you guys are able to see how the water, because the soil's not all the way dry, but it's not all the way wet, takes a minute for it to go inside the pumpkin. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that. I watered it. Lots and lots of dirt. So you guys can see it's going to take a minute for it to go down. Put that over. There's some water. I am gonna leave that. That's definitely more than enough water. Luckily it's sunny today, so I'm gonna go put this in the sun when we're done. And I'm going to leave it. Now our next step is we wait and we let it grow. So I am going to put this in the sun. I want to make sure that I'm watering it. We don't want it soaking wet. Like I said, this is more than enough water. Some of that water didn't go in. I have a little bit of water on my plate. So I am going to wipe that up right now just so the bottom stays dry for now. So I'm going to be checking it. I'm guessing because of how wet my soil is, I will not need to water it tomorrow, but I'll check the next day. If it's very dry and hot where you are and your pumpkin is outside, you're going to want to make sure that your soil is wet. You want to make sure it's not soaking wet though. We don't want to make it drenched, because if we do, it's going to make our pot fall apart. Remember, this is a real living thing. So we still want to water it. We want to get that moisture, that water, and continue to watch and see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna go put this in the sun and then I'll check on it each day, and hopefully within a few days we'll see some things happen. What do you predict is going to happen? Do you think anything's gonna happen? Can't wait to see.